Cancer, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it, Cancer. Happy day. I hope that things are moving fairly well for you. The energy's been a little bit interesting lately. We are actually coming up into a full moon in Libra, highlighting partnerships, relationship dynamics, etc. Mercury and Venus have been in retrograde, also kind of highlighting those things in our life. And it's really just shedding a lot of light on where the problems and issues are, I should say, number one, and then who and what is actually willing to work through those issues and who is not. And it can be a little bit frustrating. It can be a little bit disheartening, especially where we've had expectations for people, situations to work out in a situation or in a certain way, and it's just not happening. Also, there's a lot of heightened emotion, water element, that feeling, emotions getting triggered, etc. Definitely being fueled by the fires maybe of Aries season. And if we're not feeling grounded, stable within self, it can definitely cause a lot of tension and frustration and discord, etc. So that's why I like to start these readings off with an energy cleansing, just kind of set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out some of those blocks, obstacles that we might be coming into. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you've come into this reading with something on your heart, something on your mind, something you would like spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over, be open to receive. It's a great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing, wellness services. Readings happen to be one of them. If you're interested in me looking at your situation, how things are going, where they're headed, etc., or if you are just looking for that realignment of self, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're operating from that space of alignment, being grounded, we're better apt to make choices that actually honor our heart, our mind, our soul, and therefore bring us happiness and fulfillment, which we all deserve, right? We all deserve to be happy. So if you're interested in any of my services, I would be honored to help support in whatever way possible. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, Cancer, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see, sense, and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama Love. Mama Love. Amen. Sorry, my allergies have been horrible this season. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the astrology, in the energy lately. We're seeing both support and a lot of tension, and we kind of just have to know where to put our focus, essentially. I know that doesn't make everything easier because there is a lot of tension coming up, and we've been feeling it, especially on the emotional front. Anytime we build up towards full moons, it's always going to heighten, it's always going to enliven energy. And as I was talking about, Libra governs partnership and relationship. And it's easy to see the things in those dynamics that are amiss, right? This is a lot of you sensing into what you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you're feeling first and foremost. You're a water sign, so it's really easy for you to connect with those parts of yourself, but almost in this intrinsic way that you are trusting what you are sensing and feeling, right? Not only just oh, and here we go, you get the feeling. I thought that might have been this card, but I couldn't read it from this far back. But I'm seeing it as like that divine feminine, right? That divine, regardless of what your gender is, we all have masculine and feminine energies. Divine feminine is really kind of tapping into that feeling component, right? The masculine is more about planning and scheduling and organizing, where the feminine is really sensing and feeling into what is right and what sits right with us. This energy has been coming up a lot in the collective right now because not everything is going to make sense topically. Neptune has moved into Aries recently. It was in that cluster, well, it was in retrograde. It was in Pisces for the longest time. It was in that cluster of planets that we're seeing. And essentially, it's in Aries, moving us to this point where it's challenging us to trust, again, what we sense, what we feel, challenging us to trust our intuition. Spirit's asking you to be a little bit nicer to yourself right now. I feel like you might be kind of hard on yourself or having some really high expectations about what your quote unquote empowerment or your success looks like. This is like not putting too much pressure on yourself, because I almost feel like, I don't know, you might be extending yourself a little bit too much, right? Like kind of burning the candle at both ends, or maybe making some decisions that feel not so comfortable or a little bit out of reach, but you feel like you can kind of make it happen, make it work. Be really mindful about those things, because yes, on some level they are necessary, but you're also kind of coming from this place where it's really important for you to, again, like trust what you're sensing and trust what you're feeling. There's a reason why you're feeling certain things. You are looking a little bit like self-protected this week, on the defensive towards someone or something. I feel like someone is kind of putting down some boundaries with you this week and you're not loving it. Maybe you've kind of tried, like you've tried with them. You tried to either, I'm feeling like opening up the conversation, opening up the dynamic, giving someone an opportunity to kind of have a voice, to speak, to have a platform, etc. And they're not really taking you up on it. I don't know. I feel like someone might be penalizing you for things that they're not really telling you why or what it's about. It's put you a little bit on the defensive, but you're also trying to find different approaches to this, and it seems like nothing's quite working is what I'm seeing, or you're not really feeling a lot of the fruits of your labor. It kind of just looks like someone keeps like, oh, that's nice, Cancer, thanks so much, kind of like brushing you off, or like not really validating your efforts to some capacity. But again, like, and I think honestly, this cycle has gotten a little bit exhausting for you. You're kind of in this place where you feel like you're being brushed aside. You feel like you're being put on the back burner. It's communication without having that straightforward communication. As I'm saying this, I feel like I recall a reading that we did maybe a month or two back, where there was this need to have an honest conversation with someone, really like kind of connect and make sure there's honesty and authenticity about what's going on in it. As I'm saying this, it looks like that's not happening or has not happened. And it's made you left to wonder, but I also feel like part of that is because of how someone is acting and behaving. You know, you've kind of been put in a difficult position, so you're doing the best that you can to the best of your ability. It's hard to trust yourself. It's hard to give yourself that credit, but you keep doing it to some capacity because you know it's right. You know it's right. Instinctually, your intuition is very on point right now. I'm not saying to buy into the fear. I don't think that you're very fearful. I don't get that energy off of you. I actually get this energy where you're like trying every which way to make something happen, to make something work, and something is just not meeting you. They're not meeting you halfway. They're not even meeting you 95% of the way there. And so you're either taking a lot of responsibility on yourself about the situation or putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. And it's even showing with how this person is treating you. It's hard to deny, or even if you Well, you're committed to it. So this person's situation can kind of just like get away with it is what it looks like. Not that that's how you want it to be, but that's the way things have been set up. Even if you try to approach it, I feel like they would shut you down pretty quickly. And this is something, again, that you're like, this isn't new. This is something that's kind of been happening for quite some time. And as I'm seeing it evolve, it's moving towards this point where eventually it's going to have to be dealt with. And I feel like that's going to be sooner than later because it shows that you're not putting as much logic or trying to like rationalize why this, that, and the other, why they're doing this, that, and the other. It's hard to deny how they are approaching things out of their own success, not really putting you into the equation, even if they say that they want to, right? This is someone who just like doesn't follow through is what it looks like. And you're kind of over and done with it, or you're moving to that point. You're moving to that point of like, it's too much. It's annoying, Yeah, it's forcing you to grow up, or like someone is being really immature in how they're dealing with you, right? You're speaking the same language, but neither party wants to find, I don't want to say balance, but like both people want what they want and no one's willing to budge is kind of how it seems. And part of that is just because of some of the immaturity that you're dealing with. And I feel like this has been stuff that you've dealt with in the past. Again, this, like a lot of the things that we're seeing pop up are like karmic lessons, past people coming up, resurfacing, Mercury, Venus in retrograde, etc. And things are really culminating in how change is manifesting in our life, i.e. the vertex point to the fortune point, right? What we have to go through in order to get to our quote unquote fortune. Yeah, and Spirit's really asking you to reevaluate that, but reevaluate it from a diplomatic perspective. Libra is all about balancing the scales. It does rule partnership. It's about how are we working in these dynamics in order to make success for everybody. And someone is just not on that page, right? Someone unfortunately is just a little bit more self-focused, self-interested. They want you to do the bulk of the heavy lifting. You're already doing the bulk of the heavy lifting, and they still want you to do more, And eventually we're getting double confirmation on the waxing gibbous, right? Where there is this energy of readjustment, heavy readjustment that needs to happen, or it's going to happen for this situation. If no one's going to speak up, if no one can really have that hard conversation, then Spirit will like bring it into play. Not to be a Debbie Downer by any means, but it is just kind of the nature of the beast. I was talking about that cluster of planets. It's Venus, it is Saturn, it is the North Node, it is Mercury, and it's all basically forcing us to do the hard work. If we're not, obviously there's free will. So if someone doesn't want to do it, then that's also going to show through. Either way, regardless of how it manifests for you, Cancer, this is all about you really like standing in your power, seeing the disconnect, seeing those places where this partnership, this dynamic isn't necessarily equal give and take, and it's actually kind of sucking you dry a little bit more, and readjusting the approach, right? Recognizing that you are working with someone or something that does speak your language, but they also have a little bit of pride and ego too. Maybe they want that to be stroked. It looks like you're willing to do that on some level, right? But remember, at the end of the day, unfortunately or not, this is someone who is more self-centered, self-focused, and you're not going to necessarily get what you want out of it. I feel like you've kind of been realizing that for a minute. I think this is something that's been unfolding for quite some time, and your senses are right about this. Again, you give them the benefit of the doubt, but whether they can meet you back in that same spot, kind of to be determined. So I do hope this helps. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always, Cancer. I hope it helps. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. I know it was a little bit heavy, but thank you so much for your time, energy, always. All the readings are kind of vibing in this way, especially around our partnership. So Godspeed, wherever you may be. Definitely drop comments below. I love to connect, say hey, share, and a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support that you bring to the channel. No, I'm sending it back your way.